Where's Mario? Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. Sorry for the shouting just then. For a second, I thought you were Nintendo. Say, you know Mario, right? Italian plumber, jumps a lot, eats tons of mushrooms in a mostly not weird way. Yeah, if you do know him, you probably know him from his 3D games. Easily his most popular genre. Don't get me wrong, everyone loves Mario Kart and some of the 2D Marios, but for the most part, Nintendo really puts all their effort in 3D Mario games. Big open worlds, tons of collectibles, and there's always at least one for every console. Except Switch 2. Okay, I know. Switch 2 has not even been out for a year yet, and I think we all agree that eventually we're going to get a 3D Mario on the Switch 2. We all know this. But with so many Mario games coming out recently, some people have been wondering, what is Nintendo cooking? Now, obviously, with infinite possibilities of what Nintendo could do, it's impossible for any of us to really say what their plans are. Unless you're me. I've put together several ideas that are creative, entertaining, and most of all fun, that are 100% without a doubt guaranteed to be in the next 3D Mario game. And I have lawyers, so if I'm wrong, you can't sue me. Welcome everyone to the Reimagine series, or I guess I should say pre-imagine. You see, usually we take certain parts of media and reimagine them to a hopefully better result, but for this video, I'm actually going to be pre-imagining. Imagining a hypothetical product that, as of this very point, does not currently exist in this point of time. Yes, this is the first time I've done this. So, if you're willing to bear with me, let's go over several ideas for the new 3D Super Mario. Okay, I'm just going to go straight to the point here. Most of the ideas in this video are pretty in-depth and need some explanation, so I'm not going to waste any time. For this first idea, I'm not trying to sound super arrogant or anything, but if I'm being perfectly honest, generally, I think this idea is so good, it will get people to do the impossible. Buy a Switch 2. This idea is, drumroll please. Okay, can't afford a drumroll, good to know. This idea is open world. Okay, for the 1.5% of people who didn't go to the comments and say that was the most unoriginal idea ever, to that, I only have one response. You are correct, sir. I did rip off that idea. From Nintendo. You see, Nintendo has been having a craving for open world recently, as I'm sure you know. Started with Zelda Breath of the Wild and has slowly popped up more and more. Zelda did it, Mario Kart did it, Zelda did it again, even 3D Mario did it, Bowser's Fury. And if you play that game, you probably enjoyed it, since so many people did enjoy that game, even though it was only a side mode to a port. I think it's safe to say this is not only an idea people want and would enjoy, but an idea that Nintendo themselves want and would enjoy. And it also just happens to have tons of potential. I thought long and hard about this, but I think the best way to go about an open world Mario game would be in the Mushroom Kingdom. I know a whole new world to explore would be kind of cool, but as crazy as this sounds, I'm not sure if we've ever really gotten to explore the Mushroom Kingdom. I mean, think about it. 64 had Peach's Castle, which was cool, such a great landmark in the Mushroom Kingdom, but that was kind of it. Just the castle. Then you had Mario Galaxy, which kind of featured the Mushroom Kingdom for 2 seconds, and then we just went straight into space. And then there's Odyssey, which, don't get me wrong, the Mushroom Kingdom is honestly pretty cool, but it is a little small. I mean, for crying out loud, Peach's Castle only has one room. I really think an open, diverse world with not only the Mushroom Kingdom, but some other smaller lands like a desert land, a snow land, and there really is a lot of potential here. This is honestly just such a cool idea that I think Nintendo can run with. Being able to explore the entire Mushroom Kingdom, that's already such an incredible dream come true for a Nintendo fan as it is. Not to mention other lands, like a desert land or a snow-themed land. Not to mention tons of original lands. Like imagine a giant lake with tons of little islands spread out, each of them having doors and warp pipes that lead and connect to each other, with a giant underground pipe maze connecting all of them with secrets they have to explore. Or maybe just a giant body of water with tiny little ship parts poking out on top until you dive in and see these ginormous broken apart ships scattered everywhere. You have to go inside some of them and collect, and all this will of course only be possible with some sort of water power-up. And these are just a few ideas. Nintendo could really go wild with this. And each of these lands would all be connected to each other with one giant mushroom kingdom. There's truly endless possibilities with this idea. Of course, I do understand that with an open world, there are benefits and also cons too, like world travel. In a giant open world that's boring and not that fun to walk around in, especially if it's so big it takes forever to get anywhere, it can really kill a game. But Nintendo has so many easy solutions. One, pipes. Again, it's so easy. Just have a bunch of pipes everywhere throughout the map that you can just jump in and go to different parts. You can go pretty much anywhere. It's simple, it's easy, it's honestly probably the best option, but for more fun travel, there's another option. Carts. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wouldn't adding carts to this game just work exactly like how carts worked in the most recent Mario Kart World game? Into that, I have to say you are correct, sir, because yeah, it's basically just a cartoon game. Don't get me wrong, this is not going to be a Mario Kart World 2 or 2.0 or anything like that, no. There aren't going to be any races or anything like that. It's just going to be a vehicle that allows you to get from anywhere on the map without having to go through specific pipe areas. Kind of like the Sphinx Lion from Super Mario Odyssey's Sand Kingdom. Just a way to travel around that's still pretty fun. Maybe you could give it the ability to trick on walls and on railings, and maybe you could even drive on water and have anti-gravity. Although, granted, that last one might be asking a bit much. Still, there's tons of options that can fix the whole travel problem. That also leads me to another issue. Power-ups. Okay, I know it doesn't sound like an issue, but let me explain. With power-ups, obviously, a Mario game like this really should have them. I know some of the 3D Marios chose not to, but usually they had certain gimmicks that kind of served the purpose of power-ups. But for this game, I think it should have power-ups. Obviously, the staples, mushrooms, fire flowers, stars, the usuals. But I can also see this game bringing back some power-ups for more exploration purposes. I can see them bringing back the Tanuki suit or the Cape Feather for flying across giant mountains and getting past pretty much any high place. I can see them bringing back the Frog suit or Penguin suit to get through water and just to explore underwater areas without it being such a pain. Of course, they could also have original power-ups that can do all these things too, but I think it should focus more on bringing back old power-ups just to have more obscure power-ups instead. You can also use the power-ups to unlock specific secrets and get past certain obstacle areas. Now, like I said, this does kind of have a problem with needing a specific power-up for a specific area, especially if you get that power-up in the area that's very far away from the area that you need it. It can be annoying having to carry a power-up across the entire world without losing it. Which is why this game will have an inventory. Now, this inventory would be pretty simple. It would just allow you to carry power-ups without having to use them or wear them or having the risk of losing them. That way you can just carry them across the map and use them when you need to for specific puzzles or obstacles. Now, I know you're thinking, doesn't this sound exactly like the inventory from Bowser's Fury? Well, to have to say you are correct. Okay, I'm sorry, I'll stop doing that joke. But yes, the inventory from that game will be perfect for this game. And it would work basically the same. Maybe be a little bit bigger, but besides that, it's perfectly fine the way it is. Now, the last thing I want to really mention before I move on to my next separate idea is enemies. Of course, a giant world like this would have tons of different enemies. Some you would be able to find everywhere, some would be exclusive to certain areas, and you can even have a range of difficulty. I can imagine the center of the map, maybe where Mario's house is, where you would start. There are a few enemies that are pretty easy to handle, but the more you explore, you'll find more challenging enemies that have a lot more numbers. But that's enough talk about open world. Let's move on to a separate idea. Of all these ideas I came up with for this video, this one is probably my favorite. What if the next 3D Mario game had multiple characters? Okay, let me explain. Yes, I know 3D Land, a 3D Mario game that had multiple characters. It's already been done. Trust me, I'm well aware. But personally, I don't think it's enough. I think we can go further with this idea. Of course, you have the usual Mario, Peach, Toad, and Luigi, but I really think you could take this idea even further. Have just more characters that people would love to see. I can think of tons of other characters on top of my head. Rosalina, Pauline, Yoshi, Wario, Waluigi maybe. And heck, maybe you can pull Mario Kart and even include some enemies. Goombas, Koopas, Koopalings, maybe even Bowser. I mean, being able to play as Bowser, running through the Mushroom Kingdom, destroying Toad houses, spitting fire everywhere. Of course, I don't mean just right off the bat. This would be something more like you beat the final boss and you unlock Bowser kind of thing. I wouldn't have every single possible character you can play as unlockable from the start. Maybe just a handful. Maybe you can even find them around the world and complete tasks for them that helps you unlock them. I know it kind of sounds crazy to have a bunch of characters with different movesets, but it doesn't have to be too crazy. Each of the characters can just have slightly different abilities and skills. Luigi jumps a little higher, Toad runs a little faster, simple stuff like that. You don't have to make it too complicated. Not to mention, this would just be such great fan service for certain characters that are never usually playable in mainline Mario games to just be playable the first time. Be crazy. This entire feature alone would make this game an instant classic. And when thinking about this idea, it actually gave me another idea that goes perfectly with the idea I just explained. You see, Nintendo's been having a craving recently. Not just with the open world stuff. I'm talking about Nintendo's craving for online. Specifically, Mario Online. Now, Mario's had online for quite a while now. With Mario Karts, Mario Sports, Mario Parties, it's not necessarily new. But they have seemed to be pushing it more. Like with Mario Wonder, which had an online mode where people could kind of interact with each other to help collect coins and stuff. Of course, this was poorly executed, and I still remember when I first saw this explained in the trailer, knowing that absolutely no one on the planet was going to play this mode. I was right. But then they added it to Mario Kart World with better execution. Being able to play online with friends, explore the world, race each other, actually be able to physically contact with each other, and just have fun. They definitely did better with Mario Kart World, at least in concept with online. But I think if you took online and combined it with the game that I have described to you in this video, you would have something amazing. Just imagine this. Being able to play online with your friends, playing as some of your favorite Mario characters, and just exploring the Mushroom Kingdom with all your friends. Being able to explore, find secrets, race each other, jumping across different platforms and obstacles, and even trolling each other. I know Nintendo has a thing about trolling in their games, but with this being a 3D game and not a 2D game, I think it will be a lot harder to troll, and I think Nintendo will be a lot more okay with it. The ideas I've described in this video, when put together, I generally think will create something just amazing, with such incredible, hilarious experiences that are perfect to put on YouTube and the stream. Would just be so much fun and make for some comedy gold. Of course, we're not quite done yet, since I need to explain what I probably should have gone over in the beginning of this video. I thought of a pretty simple story for this game. I can imagine One day in the Mushroom Kingdom, 7 stars fall from the sky, or moons, or pretty much anything. It doesn't really matter. 7 stars land in the Mushroom Kingdom, each in different areas. All of them have magical abilities, but when you take all of them and put them together, they have incredible power to grant a wish. Of course, Bowser hears of this, and he decides to send all of his Koopa kids to hunt for every single one of these stars. And once Mario and the gang hears of this, they go after them too, not wanting Bowser to get the stars for himself. But other Mario characters also hear of this, and maybe they want to wish for something for themselves. So everyone is just on a giant chase across the entire Mushroom Kingdom to get these stars. Some stars will be stuck on Koopa towers where you have to fight hordes of enemies. Some of them would just be hidden throughout the world. Maybe some of them you would have to challenge other characters or enemies in a race or battle to get the star. Eventually you would get all of them, then you have to go to Bowser's castle to get the last star, only for him to steal all the stars you have and use it to grant ultimate power. Bowser becomes big and scary, then you would have the final boss and defeat him, and the usual stuff. And after that, you probably unlock Bowser and all the Koopalings, and you would just be able to explore the world and play the game as every single character. Yeah, I know the story isn't too complex, but 3D Mario games aren't really supposed to have amazing, incredible, detailed stories. They're just supposed to suit the game they're made for. And I think this does pretty well. And that, my friends, is absolutely, most definitely, 100% the next 3D Mario game. Should be. That's what it should. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Those are all my thoughts and ideas for the next 3D Mario game. I know not all of them are guaranteed to get in, like maybe not even most of them, but I really do hope that at least one actually does get in. All these ideas I thought of were all ideas that I genuinely think just really fun and something Nintendo can go wild with. And I think Nintendo really does need a big win, especially after last year. Even though I may have no idea what they had planned next, I trust they got some pretty big plans for the Italian plumber. So until then, thank you all for watching. I truly hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe if you choose, and, well, until we dream again.